Welcome to Modern English Talk. Today is day one of our 30-day English Fluency Challenge,
where you'll take your first step towards speaking English confidently and naturally.
Have you ever wondered why you can understand English movies, YouTube videos, or even your English teacher, but the moment someone asks you a simple question in English, your mind suddenly goes completely blank? You know the words, you know the grammar, and you've spent months or even years studying English, yet speaking still feels difficult, slow, and frustrating. If that sounds familiar, then today's episode might be exactly what you've been looking for.
And here's the exciting part. You don't need to be naturally talented. You don't need to memorize thousands of vocabulary words overnight. And you definitely don't need to speak perfect English to become fluent. What you really need is a clear, practical system that you can follow every single day. And that's exactly what we're starting today with our 30-day English Fluency Challenge.
For the next 30 days, we're going to guide you step by step with simple daily lessons, practical speaking exercises, confidence-building activities in real-life English that you can actually use. Our goal isn't to make you sound perfect. Our goal is to help you speak English naturally, comfortably, and with confidence.
So wherever you're listening from, whether you're at home, traveling to work, studying at your desk, or simply relaxing with a cup of coffee, take a deep breath, forget about being afraid of mistakes, and get ready because today is day one, and your journey to speaking fluent English starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Modern English Talk, the podcast where we help you build real English speaking skills through simple conversations, practical tips, and enjoyable daily practice. I'm your host, Emma, and I'm so happy you've decided to spend a few minutes with us today because this episode marks the beginning of something exciting. If you've always dreamed of speaking English confidently in everyday life, then you're in exactly the right place.
And I'm Alex, your co-host, and we're thrilled to have you join us for day one of our 30-day English Fluency Challenge. Before we begin, let me tell you something important. This challenge isn't about learning hundreds of difficult grammar rules or memorizing endless vocabulary lists. Instead, it's about building one small habit every day that will help you think, speak, and communicate in English more naturally. Small daily improvements may not seem exciting at first, but over 30 days, they can create an incredible transformation in your confidence and speaking ability.
Exactly. Think of this challenge like going to the gym. You don't become stronger after one workout, but if you show up every day and stay consistent, you'll eventually notice amazing progress. English works the same way. Every episode in this series builds on the previous one. So if you stay with us until the end of the challenge, you'll develop better speaking habits, stronger listening skills, and much more confidence when using English in real conversations.
So, make yourself comfortable, grab a notebook if you'd like to write down useful phrases, and most importantly, promise yourself that you'll actively participate instead of just listening. Repeat after us, answer our questions, and practice out loud because speaking English is a skill you build by using it, not just by studying it. Now, let's begin today's first lesson and take the very first step toward becoming a confident English speaker. So, make yourself comfortable, grab a notebook if you'd like to write down useful phrases, and most importantly, promise yourself that you'll actively participate instead of just listening. Repeat after us, answer our questions, and practice out loud because speaking English is a skill you build by using it, not just by studying it. Now, let's begin today's first lesson and take the very first step toward becoming a confident English speaker.
Alex, before we start today's practice, I think it's important to answer a question that millions of English learners ask themselves every day. Why am I still not fluent after studying English for so long? Many people spend years learning grammar, memorizing vocabulary, watching English videos, and even reading books, but when it's finally time to speak, they suddenly lose confidence. The problem isn't that they're not intelligent or hardworking. In most cases, they're simply practicing English in a way that doesn't prepare them for real conversations.
I completely agree, Emma. One of the biggest mistakes learners make is believing that they need to know every grammar rule before they can start speaking. They keep telling themselves, I'll speak English when my grammar is perfect. But the truth is that day never comes. Even native English speakers make grammar mistakes from time to time, yet they communicate confidently because they're focused on expressing ideas instead of chasing perfection. Waiting to become perfect often becomes the biggest reason people never begin speaking at all.
Another common habit is translating every sentence from your native language into English before you speak. That may seem helpful at first, but it actually slows your thinking and makes conversations feel stressful. By the time you've translated your sentence in your mind, the conversation has already moved on. Fluent speakers don't translate every word. They think directly in English using simple words and short, natural sentences. That's exactly the habit we're going to build throughout this challenge.
And here's something else many learners don't realize. Listening to English is helpful, but listening alone won't make you a confident speaker. Speaking is like learning to ride a bicycle. You can watch hundreds of videos about riding, but you'll only improve when you actually get on the bicycle and practice. English works the same way. The more you speak, even if you make mistakes, the more natural, comfortable, and confident you'll become. So from today onward, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Every mistake is proof that you're practicing, learning, and moving one step closer to fluency.
Now that we understand why so many learners struggle with speaking, it's time for today's mission. And I promise it's much simpler than you might expect. Our goal for day 1 is not to learn 50 new vocabulary words or memorize difficult grammar rules. Instead, we're going to train your brain to think in simple English. This small habit can completely change the way you speak, because the more you think directly in English, the less you'll depend on translating from your native language. Remember, fluency doesn't begin with speaking, it begins with thinking.
Exactly, Emma. Many learners believe they need advanced vocabulary to sound fluent, but that's not true at all. Imagine you wake up in the morning. Instead of thinking in your native language and then translating, try saying simple English sentences in your mind. For example, you can think, I am awake. I need to get out of bed. I will brush my teeth. I'm a little sleepy, but I feel good today. Now I'm going to make breakfast. These are short, easy sentences, but they train your brain to process English naturally. That's the first step toward real fluency.
Let's try another example together. Look around the room you're in right now. Can you see a chair, a table, a window, a phone? Instead of just looking at these objects, describe them in English. You could say, this is my chair, it is comfortable, my phone is on the table, the window is open, and the room is bright today. Don't worry if your sentences are simple. In fact, simple sentences are better because they help you build confidence and speed before moving on to more advanced English.
Here's a challenge for everyone listening. For the next few minutes after this episode, try to stop translating completely. Whenever you see an object or do an activity, describe it using the easiest English words you know. If you don't know a difficult word, don't stop speaking. Use different words to explain the idea instead. That's exactly what fluent speakers do. They keep the conversation moving instead of getting stuck on one missing word. Remember, communication is always more important than perfection, and every simple English sentence you create today is another step toward becoming a confident English speaker.
All right, everyone, this is the most important part of today's episode because now it's your turn to speak. Don't just listen to us, join the conversation. If you're at home, in your room, or anywhere you feel comfortable, answer our questions out loud. Even if you're outside and can't speak loudly, try whispering the answers or saying them quietly to yourself. The goal today isn't to sound perfect, it's simply to get your mouth and your mind working together in English. Remember, every confident speaker started by speaking one simple sentence at a time.
That's right. Let's begin with an easy question. What are you doing right now? Take a few seconds to answer before listening to my example. You might say, I am listening to a podcast. I am learning English. I am sitting in my room. I am taking notes while I listen. Notice how simple those sentences are. They don't use difficult vocabulary, but they clearly express an idea. And that's exactly what effective communication is all about.
Great job. Here's another question. Where are you right now? Think about your answer and say it in complete sentences. For example, I am at home, I am in my bedroom, I am sitting at my desk, it is quiet here, and I feel relaxed. If you're somewhere else, just describe your location using the words you already know. Don't stop speaking just because you don't know one word. Use other simple words to explain your idea instead.
Excellent. Now let's try something a little more descriptive. What can you see around you? Look around for a moment and describe what you notice. You could say, I can see a table, a chair, and a window. My phone is next to me. There's a bottle of water on my desk. The room is clean and the light is bright. The more details you add, the more comfortable you'll become creating English sentences naturally.
Now let's talk about feelings because this is something we use in everyday conversations. How do you feel today? Maybe you're excited, happy, tired, nervous, calm, or motivated. Here's an example. Today, I feel excited because I have started this 30-day challenge. I know my English is not perfect yet, but I am ready to practice every day and improve little by little. That's a wonderful answer because it uses simple English to express a real feeling.
Before we move on, I want you to remember one important rule. Don't rush your answers, and don't worry if you make mistakes. Every sentence you speak is helping your brain become more comfortable with English. The more often you practice these simple questions, the faster your speaking will become. Confidence doesn't appear overnight. It grows through daily practice, one conversation, and one sentence at a time. So give yourself credit for showing up today, because you've already taken an important step toward becoming a fluent English speaker.
You've done an amazing job practicing with us so far, and now it's time for your Day 1 challenge. This is where the real improvement begins because learning English doesn't end when this episode finishes. The progress you make over the next 30 days will depend on what you do after you close this video. So, today's challenge is simple, practical, and something that everyone can do, no matter what your current English level is.
Your first task is to speak only in simple English for 5 minutes today. Don't worry about using advanced vocabulary or complicated grammar. Instead, describe everything you're doing as if you're talking to a friend. For example, while you're making tea or coffee, you can say, I am making a cup of tea, the water is hot. Now I am adding sugar. It smells good and I can't wait to drink it. If you're cleaning your room, you can say, I am making my bed. I am putting my books on the shelf. My room looks much cleaner now. These everyday situations are the perfect opportunity to practice real English.
Your second task is to choose one place in your home, maybe your bedroom, your kitchen, or your living room, and describe it in English for at least 1 full minute. Talk about what you can see, the colors, the furniture, the objects around you, and even how the room makes you feel. If you forget a word, don't stop speaking. Use different words to explain your idea because that's exactly what confident English speakers do in real conversations. Remember, communication is always more important than using perfect vocabulary.
And here's one final challenge that can make a huge difference. Throughout the day, try to catch yourself whenever you start translating from your native language into English. The moment you notice it, pause for a second and ask yourself, can I express this idea using simple English instead? You'll be surprised how often the answer is yes. This habit trains your brain to think directly in English, and that's one of the most powerful skills you can develop on your journey to fluency.
Before tomorrow's lesson, we'd love for you to complete all 3 tasks and then come back ready for day 2. Don't worry if today's practice felt a little challenging. That's completely normal. Every fluent English speaker started exactly where you are today. What separates successful learners from everyone else isn't talent, it's consistency. So believe in yourself, keep practicing, and remember that every single sentence you speak brings you one step closer to becoming a confident and natural English speaker.
As we come to the end of day 1, I want you to take a moment and appreciate what you've accomplished today. You didn't just listen to another English lesson, you took action. You spoke English, you practiced thinking in English, and you completed the very first step of a journey that has the power to completely transform the way you communicate. Remember, becoming fluent doesn't happen because of one perfect lesson. It happens because you choose to practice a little every single day, even on the days when you don't feel confident. Every sentence you speak today becomes part of the confidence you'll have tomorrow.
Absolutely, Emma. And if you made mistakes during today's practice, that's actually something to celebrate because mistakes are proof that you're learning. Don't compare yourself with someone who has been learning English for years. Compare yourself with the person you were yesterday. If today you spoke one more sentence than yesterday, you've already made progress. Fluency isn't about speaking fast or using difficult words. It's about expressing your ideas clearly, naturally, and confidently, and that's exactly what we're going to keep building together over the next 30 days.
Now here's your mission before the next episode. Complete today's speaking challenge, spend at least 5 minutes thinking in simple English, and don't forget to practice describing your surroundings out loud. Then come back for day 2, where we'll learn one of the most important habits that confident English speakers use every single day to improve their fluency faster. Trust us, you won't want to miss it because each lesson is designed to build on the previous one and help you become a stronger English speaker step by step.
And before you go, we'd love to hear from you. Open the comments section and write day 1 complete if you finished today's challenge. Tell us where you're watching from and share one simple English sentence about your day. Reading your comments motivates us, and it also gives you another chance to practice your English with learners from around the world. If you enjoyed today's episode and found it helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. Share it with a friend who's learning English, and subscribe to Modern English Talk so you never miss a lesson in this 30-day English Fluency Challenge. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when day 2 is released.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember, every day you speak English is another day closer to fluency. We'll see you in day 2. Until then, take care, stay confident, and keep speaking English.